I missed part of the interview, darn it, and now my tape recorder's acting up.
Because I was singing, we replaced my voice with his voice, and that's why on 915 you had some of my voices and some of his voice. There's certain things we kept, and that's kind of how it evolved into becoming Yes.
So you're strictly co-responsible with the rest of the band of the new sound of Yes. That's something more fresh and more bright.
I guess so. I hope so. I hope that's the case.
And it is. And if you could describe 90125 and Big Generator and this brand new album, Chuck, what would you say about them? What are the basic differences of the band and your involvement with musicians with these three albums?
Well, I think 90125 was an album where it was so exciting and new for us, and we went in and we didn't really think about what we were doing. We just did it, and it came out like that. I mean, some of the things that most people said to me, "Oh, this part, it's amazing. How did you do it?" It's actually a mistake, those kind of things. Like you hear about the Beatle records. How did they do that? Well, they didn't know what they were doing. And then when we got to Big Generator, there was a lot of pressure on us to come up with something because 90125 had been successful, and then there was an album in between 90125 and the Talk album, the Union album, where Chris had written a song, which is a fantastic song, called The More You Look, and I'd written some stuff, and we wrote the song Lift Me Up together, and we were going to... Oh, there he is. I didn't know what we were going to be doing with the stuff, but we were just kind of writing, and then John Anderson was working on this Anderson, Rupert, Wakeman, Howe album, and he phoned me and said, "Do you have any songs?" And I gave him a couple of songs for it, and then they put together this album called Union, which wasn't something which we had nurtured like we did on 90125 from the start. It was really two separate bands that never actually worked together, and this album was put together out of it. So we didn't really consider that to be something that we felt really proud of and stuff. I mean, it was fun. That's, I guess, what it was. It was fun. It was just an opportunity to go and have some fun. Yeah, we'll put this stuff out. But the next album, this Talk album, we really went into very seriously to do something that hopefully we could say 20 years time, that's one of the things we did that we're really proud of. Because, when we look at 90125, we look at it and say, we're proud of that. As I'm sure the other guys look at Fragile or Close to the Edge and say, I'm very proud of that. Since I've been in the band, look at 90125, it's easy to say we're proud of it. And we wanted this album to do the same thing. But the main thing about this album was we didn't want to look back, because with Big Generator there's a lot of pressure to come up with an album that was going to do as well commercially. So that pressure kind of led to a lot of... I'm very happy with Big Generator, but most of it, not all of it, but most of it I'm happy with. But with this album, there was really no pressure. It was just we're going to do what we want to do and be as creative as possible and not think about it. And when I was kind of chosen as a producer and we agreed this is how we were going to go ahead, one of the main things that I wanted to do was not look behind and say, well, that's what we did before. Let's use some of that. Forget about the past. Let's approach this like, day one. No memory banks are cleared. Let's start from scratch. And just use the instinct and whatever talent we have, rather than going back and trying to bring up ideas that we've used in the past.
Can you describe what's the role of Trevor Rabin as a producer and what's the role of Trevor Rabin as a member of playing the guitar?
One of the reasons I didn't find it a problem, because it can be a problem. A guy who's producing, also writing songs and playing guitar and keyboards and singing, it's maybe sometimes people look at it being, it's too many things to do, too many hats to wear. But for me, the reason I originally became an engineer was because I didn't like the sound when I was doing sessions. I'd play, and then sometimes I'd go into the control room and it would sound great, and then other times I'd go into a control room and it wouldn't sound good. And I said, why it doesn't sound good? And this was, many years ago, and I thought, it's the sound that gets through there, because it sounded great in the room, but when it got into the control room, the engineer had interpreted it not the way I might want to. Sometimes he did, sometimes he didn't. Different engineers. So I thought, I really want to get to know that. So I really worked at becoming an engineer. And so when I'm engineering and producing something, it's kind of easier for me in a way, because I know exactly what I want to go for, and I don't have to try and tell someone to interpret it. And, as far as an arrangement, to me the arrangement is so part and parcel of the sound that you can't really dissect it. And unless the producer is really tuned into what you're thinking and what you're doing, it's kind of very difficult to do that. Unless, there's some artists, that who write songs on an acoustic guitar or something that needs to be arranged, and that's a different thing. But when I write a song, I write it with how it's going to sound eventually. That's always in my mind, so I kind of know where it's going to go. And with the input from this band, there's enough kind of energy coming from other places to give me a lot of support. So it wasn't a problem for me at all.
Would you say that there might be a stage when technology can be harmful to a musician at some time?
Oh, absolutely. It's like driving a fast car. If you do it wrong, it can be very dangerous. And I like fast cars, and I drive them kind of dangerously. But no, seriously, with technology, this I was telling you, we did this album on a new technology, which basically was, I had 4 Macintoshes linked together with a software called Digital Performer, where you can record the audio straight onto the hard drive. And there's so many options come up there. There's infinite options. You can do just about anything with it. But for me, what it achieved was capturing the best parts. Because yes, it's a playing band. It's not a band where you get a sequencer and program and stuff. The programming that I did was really just to capture the best elements of the band. And it was so much more efficient than doing it on tape recorders. Even digital tape recorders, analog tape recorders, it doesn't matter. It's still tape recorders, and the sound goes past this head. With a hard drive, it's wherever you want it to be. And I think it's the way of the future. And it was the first album that's ever been done like this, so it was scary in one sense. And something went wrong. There was no one to, what's wrong? I said, we don't know. It's the first time we're doing it. So the companies in Massachusetts, they'd send technicians out to help find out what's wrong, and it was, the program's wrong, we got to write updates. I was a beta tester for the company, so that, the negative is that sometimes when the problems came up, it was very difficult to fix them. With the tape recorder, if something goes wrong, just fix it, it's easy, But the positives definitely outweigh the negatives.
Trevor, there have been lots of bootleg albums that have come out from your various tours of this Yes of Your Own. And I can see
what is this bootleg?
You can suit and play and substitute Steve Howe in the classic songs almost. It's a different kind of playing, but you can do things on your own, recreating and sometimes doing the performance of the guitar much better than what he did in the albums. I really mean that. But would you say that it would be easy, perhaps, for Steve Howe to substitute Trevor Rabin into playing the type of guitar that you are doing with your own Yes?
I've never heard him do it. He's never had to do it, so it's very difficult to say. But the easy part is learning the parts. It's easy to learn the parts. The difficult thing is finding out how you're going to approach it. And the thing I thought about more, I spent much more time thinking about how I'm going to play it rather than the learning of it. The learning of it was easy. So I'm sure he could, learn the parts, but it's just how he did it. I wouldn't know how. Chris can answer that one. He had an interesting question. Well, he was very complimentary about how I interpret Steve's parts, the old stuff. Yeah. And his question was, how do you think Steve would interpret my parts?
Chris Squire was just walking in.
With great difficulty.
I say this, you've never heard it, so it's hard to tell.
Well, Trevor's more flexible in the state. Steve tends to be very much in his own style. I would say he's stuck in it, but Trevor has the ability to do things.
This guy's got to be named Trevor.
Other things.
Because I think, and he's a guitar player, and they're talking about his playing close to 3 hours.
And Chris, now that you could help me also with this, how would you describe the personality of Trevor inside Yes?
His personality inside Yes? His personality as a musician. Progressive.
Progressive.
And at the same time very calm.
He's having fun. He's like one to make a big joke out of it.
With this new tour, what are we going to see that's different from your rolling unit or the reunion tour?
Very different thing. The stage, the lights. I think it's certainly since I've been in the band, the best thing that we've done. And sound. As far as the sound goes, we've got a quadraphonic sound that we're using, which we haven't used for a while. But more importantly than the quad, there's a lot of different things we're going to do, which we're still working on. That's why we're rehearsing for a long time. The sound company and us, we're working very closely with the sound company to bring the sound so that the dynamics and it's just basically this new things involved in doing sound-wise. It's going to be spectacular, the sound, compared to things we've done in the past, sound-wise.
And how was it when you had to determine the pieces that you had to play when the 8 of you went out together on tour?
I don't remember. You remember that?
Not really. No, obviously we played some stuff from the Union album. Not very much, really. And I guess just the old favorites, I guess, is what we did.
Yeah, but the thing is that you actually did 8 different solos on your own.
8 solos?
Yes. Yeah, each one of you played a solo.
I know, how ridiculous.
Now I know.
There's too many
Thank God
solos.
there's only one bass player.
Are you staying up to music on the
You have too many solos. In fact, at one point, I think it was Chris and John suggested that Steve and I, instead of doing separate solos, we play the solos together.
Yeah.
And we just didn't end up doing it. It didn't work.
Imagine that's another thing
We just didn't do it. I mean, I was interested in doing it, but Steve had his very
You have to know too,
particular
I'm
thing
supposed to
he
be gone by
was
this time. MTV was gone.
Right.
I'm doing this on my own. I own all this
Okay,
shit.
so Trevor, for you to make an ID,
Yeah, sure.
as I was telling Chris, it's going to be an 8-hour special.
He's asking the question after question.
I already given MTV the
By the
tape
time you go to
before
Mexico,
they're
you
gone.
can also try
They've been gone for
They only took
whatever you want to
say, the name of the radio station is
We're up to an hour
Radioactive
and 15 now.
Hi, this is Trevor Raven. You're listening to Radioactive 90.
8.5.
Okay. Hi, this is Trevor Raven, and you're listening to Radioactive on 98 and a half. And enjoy the show, and hopefully we'll see you in Mexico real soon.
Great. Thank you very much, Trevor.
Thank you.
I really appreciate it. It was a pleasure.
Thank you, man.
Would you mind saying? Oh, sure.
Okay, run it back real fast. I want to hear the music. So that's one of the Yes Children there?
Yeah. Could actually be on my channel. Yeah, I kind of would have been cute though. But I got him earlier. I'm talking to him. Yeah, he's the son of the last guy that was talking.
Oh, he's Trent Reznor's son? Shit, and there he is standing there going, when are you going to finish? I want to get out of here.
Take him home, yeah.
I know, let's go. Stop asking questions. He walks out like he's taking off. You think you have it? Can you switch the mics? Can you switch the thing? See if he's...
I could.
So tell me the story about how Romeo Carey got the Yes on tape for an interview in 1994. How were you invited? What
was the invite, like, whatever?
I have nothing to do with it. Someone gave me a copy of the tape.
Is that right? You're bullshitting me. You did shoot it because I know your shooting style. You're on the floor in their faces. At one point, Trent Reznor reaches up and goes, "Get out of here!" And he's like, make a gesture at your shooting because you're right in their faces. I know it's you. No one else would be that bold and get right in their faces. And I know how you focus. You start it on the eyes and then you come out. So I know that's you dog, pig, swine,
I have
cocksucking,
nothing to do with it. Nothing. I'm just.
crack bitch hole.
I sent a cameraman of mine, and he went and did it. Because I was actually.
Oh, it's John Schneider? Is it Schneider
Yeah,
Rama, the great
Schneider,
cameraman?
yeah.
Wow, that would have been the greatest.
He
He would have done a better job.
He completely forgot that he did it, over the years because of all his, marijuana.
He probably just forgot to plug in this.
Always, you don't know what.
You don't know what's going to come in at the end of the tape.
See that? Look at that! He's pointing right at me.
Absolute Films Productions.
Praying for prayer. Universal God. Looks like the guy just pointed at me. Did you see that? No.
Trent?
When I said, wait, there's going to be something's going to happen, Trent went like this. Pointing at me.
Oh, you got a little photo op there, huh? I think he's saying you. Get out of here. We want to leave. We have video evidence of Trent Reznor being irritated with Absolute Films.
That's it.
Ooh, I like that last little. Did you hear how the recording of that little clock came in absolutely as you were at the end of the videotape?
Yeah.
Synchronicity. Hey, that could be a song. Like, I like those lyrics. Synchronicity. Do you think I could make a song out of that? Do you think? Schneider Rama writing a new song. Let's see. The day breaks, your mind aches. Excitate, synchronicity. Dream dance, a time chance, a dead romance. You like those lyrics? And then they go synchronicity. Schneider Rama at work. Wow, yes. Fast rewinds. And another 20 years before he ever makes copies to anybody. This is Radio Kelly, where incredible archive footage of ancient classic bands go undiscovered for 4,000 years until men in spacesuits open up a silver sealed in welding casket and discover a tape of the interview of 1710.
My equipment.
The video is showing a picture of Chris Squire talking with Trevor. What's his name? Trent Reznor. Trevor. Where's the music?
You just heard it. That was it. I saw him playing baseball. He wasn't at all shy. He was kicking on the video game. He likes baseball.
No, let's make it straight now.
Yeah, I know, but I heard you.
Ollie? Yeah? Can you give me a ride home?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because Shelly left. And I didn't have my car.
Of course.
Trevor begging for a ride and his son approving.
That would be fun too. That would be probably more convenient if it's okay with you, because then you don't have to schlep all the way up there. Are we? Yeah, ready. Are we ready? Oh, sorry, I was kind of waiting.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You do something.
Anytime.
Are we Tony Clay? Yeah, we're all doing this, and then when you do that, I'm going to do my individual. Come on, Tony.
Yeah, Tony.
You go and screw your brain. Pretty much there.
That's a keyboardist playing like he's going to unscrew the kid's brain.
Chris said I could.
Ready? But yeah, I did.
Yeah, the kids.
I said you could be instead of your dad. Well, you can do it instead of me.
Put Trevor.
Be fine.
Trevor be good next to you.
Where you want us?
Have Trevor sit center stage, and then we're gonna try to line you guys right up on this couch. Be good.
This kind of deal?
Yeah.
Line us up on this couch?
Yeah.
Well, that's not a bright light. Mexican MTV, right?
Oh, Mexican.
Yeah.
That means
Oh, that
Mexican.
MTV.
Just right, doesn't know what's going on.
No, no.
MTV.
Schneiderama commentating.
You know about this birthday greeting that we should do? Honey?
Let me check. Birthday greeting?
Yeah, interview with her last night. We had an interview with her last night. They forgot to do the birthday greeting.
I did the birthday greetings.
She says
No. Well, still a yes. I mean,
I said we could fax something. Do you know what?
Oh, yeah. So is he trying to be funny?
yeah, alright.
Happy birthday, Prince Fred.
Yeah, why don't you just fax him something from me? You know what I mean?
You have a ladder in your song.
Don't tell me I don't like the album though, Paul.
You can text it. Very accepting. Very accepting.
Anyone got the email about it? Well, have you got a ladder?
I've got to run, dear.
Molly Sugden.
Molly Sugden. It's funny.
It's a slogan.
Yeah. And I've got the name of that guy too.
John Inman.
John Inman, yeah.
Okay. I'm going to start off with you, Ricardo.
Yeah.
And then I'll pan over. So,
Ricardo, doing the interview.
Mine story, it's mine.
okay, here we go, everybody. On, what's the 4/28?
Ricardo looks nervous.
4/28? What, April 28th?
Right.
April 28th.
Wearing a red jacket and a blue shirt.
Why are you being North Hollywood
Yeah.
MTV interview with Yes. On 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and anytime, Ricardo.
Estamos aquí con el grupo de Yes en Hollywood, California. Vamos a entrevistar a 3 de los integrantes. Estamos en la sala de ensayo de Yes. Se están poniendo listos para hacer su gira mundial. Empezará dentro de un poco de tiempo. Está con nosotros Trevor Rabin, Chris Squire y Tony Kaye, en orden de aparición.
Hi. How you doing?
Hello. Mexican TV. And first thing that pops into my mind when
In
I
order of their
about
appearance,
Yes,
and Romeo correctly pans from left.
to get together
From right
with
to
all the
left.
things you do, and with all the changes, and yes, to do a project like this.
I think Tony's got the best answer for that one because I can't come up with anything.
How do we go? This is our project. This is it. This is the main thing that we do. I guess we were alluding to the fact that we've had different changes over the period. But actually, since the 90125 album, it's been this band, except for the Union tour, which was forced on to us by record companies and executives. So, nevertheless, it was pretty enjoyable. But this is the band. Yes, the Union thing was with Rick and Bill and the rest of them.
There's still been some deep changes, like, for example, you're producing this album, like Trevor Horn that produced the 90125 album. How are those changes?
It's a very simple thing. Well, one of the exciting things we did on this album is we tried to approach it with brand new technology, so that all the playing and all the songs would not be inhibited by tape. And there's always been the argument: is digital tape sound better than analog tape? It's not so much the sound; it's the flexibility. And we used a brand new thing that no one's ever used before. A format where basically 4 Macintoshes were used to capture the best parts of the playing. And it was just a very exciting kind of thing to do because, as I say, it's the first time it was done, so it's kind of pushing technology all the time, and that's what we like to do. So it was kind of exciting in that sense.
Isn't that difficult? I mean, when you get into digital things, digital editing, digital sounds, you can get so much out of it, and then to put it back together to play it
Yes! as played by Schneiderama. Not very good. Sorry, Steve Howe. I suck. You're great. This is Romeo K. And Schneiderama documenting this on audio tape. It's incredible. It's yes. What more can you say?
You missed all the kids. Really all out.
It's a bass player. Yeah, that's the bass player, Chris Squire. The guy with the sour-faced puss.
Do you see Absolute Films in the background?
No.
What? You see it's right behind.
Dude,
so cool.
you've done it, man. You've done it, dude.
Look at the background. Watch when you see it. In a second, you'll see Absolute Films. So cool. You'll see it in a second when I pull out. Just warming up. They haven't seen it. You recognize him?
You know the faces that well, like the drummer?
See that box right there?
The producer, yeah.
On that box is Absolute Film. In a second. You'll see it.
Hello, Mexican TV. And first thing that pops into my mind when I think about Yes is how do you ever get the time to get together with all the things you do and, with all the changes in Yes to do a project like this?
I think Tony's got the best answer for that one, because I can't come up with anything.
Who's Tony?
How do we get? Well, this is our project. This is it.
He might be the drummer.
This is the main thing that we do. I guess we're alluding to the fact that we've had different changes over a period.
Yes.
But actually, since the 90125 album, it's been this band, except for the Union tour, which was forced on to us by record companies and executives. So, nevertheless, it was pretty enjoyable.
Good to get a nice little angle on it.
This is the band.
And you're shooting low,
Yes,
which
the
is
Union
appropriate.
thing was
You're shooting up at Rock
with Reagan
Dodge,
Bill
so you gotta be through the low then.
And the rest of them.
There's still been some
That's the bass player, one of the best bass players in the world.
Yeah! The 90125 album.
Pretty badass.
Yeah, did you do that on purpose?
It's very simple.
Yeah, advertising.
Yeah.
Put it on, why not?
Trevor.
I'd set you up the shot. Why not?
Right.
Well, one of the exciting things we did on this album is we
Your
used
prerogative.
we tried to
You're being
approach
smart. You gotta advertise. No one will advertise it for you.
So that all the playing and all the songs would not be inhibited by tape. And as you know, there's always been the argument: is digital tape sound better than analog tape?
Right.
It's not so much the sound; it's the flexibility. And we used a brand new thing that no one's ever used before, a format where basically 4 Macintoshes were used to capture the best parts of the playing. And it was just a very exciting kind of thing to do.
Computers.
As I said, it's the first time it was done, so it's kind of pushing technology all the time, and that's what we like to do.
Badass interviews, because the thing's over 15 minutes long.
Yeah?
In that sense.
Hey, they're getting digital so close now in film and audio. It's resembling analog, it's getting there.
Sounds, you can get so much out of it. And then to put it back together, to play it live, for example, do it all over again when you're inside of a computer, and do it back again here.
Well, the thing is, 10 years or so ago when the sequences and computers started coming to the front, it was really you'd record into a computer and then you could do things in the computer to change the things. And what we did in this is just use the computer just for storage. So if we wanted, for example, if Tony was doing a Hammond solo, or I was doing guitar solo, or Chris was doing some bass or vocals, whatever it was, we could just keep running it and looping it because we didn't have to run back, and you can just keep recording tracks. You don't have to worry about where they're going. And as far as editing and the manipulation, it was just so much easier capturing the best takes and the best performances. And I think the band played really. We managed to grab the best performances that the band played because of the technology we used.
Most of the songs are written by
himself and John Anderson also.
And some of them. Right. There's one song that Roger Hudson Yeah. There was a time where we took a bit of a break, and
It's a perception that...
Shit. Did you put it on pause?
Complexity of what has gone on in the past, and particularly because
Okay, figure it now.
It's just a matter of time that we bring out a new album of what we consider to be, the band Yes. So, undoubtedly there's some misconceptions.
It might be Alan White on drums.
What is going on, who it is, what it is, but, for us,
No, I'm sure they're polite. Right,
yes,
the bit of German.
this is just a
Englishman,
Another
very
album.
English.
So you were saying a little bit a while ago that the reunion tour was that just worked for fans very much, but it also worked for the executives of the record companies.
Well, it was a strange union in a lot of respects. We were actually working on
The
an album
MTV guys left, and I'm like,
at the
okay,
time.
around 2:15.
And,
Did you know very much about them?
John was
I mean,
I had their
involved
album.
in what was
That's
then
their first
Anderson.
album, Over the Hills and Far Away, but
And
I thought they were half
they were contracted
They were at that
to do
point,
an
they're
album
like, oh,
with
wow,
Anderson.
they're bringing it back, going to
And
It's really good.
I guess people still
They
wait
just
for
told
the
me we're
album.
gonna. They sent me down. I didn't know who it
we
was when I
finished.
got there.
You didn't know that much about
No, I
them.
showed up
What
and I
we
thought
would
those
do.
were like
Well, we
engineers.
finished
I'm
it,
all,
we were in the
supposed to be
middle of
band here. I gotta set up the
what we were
interview.
doing.
They go, oh yeah,
Sort of thing,
yeah. Well,
what
you can
they
set up
would do.
anywhere.
Uh-huh.
I said, well, who's the band?
The executives
oh,
said,
yes.
why don't we
Yes.
join this
The
together?
band, yes. Yeah.
And
It's not. I am.
we,
Chris Squire.
the band
Chris Squire,
Chris
yeah.
Squire.
had
Started
left
introducing
Atlanta
himself.
at that point.
And then they kicked the kids out. The
And
kids were
so
around
we
there.
were free to do
Uh-huh.
really anything that we wanted.
Were their kids?
So
Yeah.
we decided that this was, an
He said if you'd come earlier, you could have shot the music being played.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That would have been cool.
One
You didn't ever hear that?
with
He
Harrison
said
to
it?
do.
Yeah, he said it right to you. I have it on tape.
Oh,
But,
wow.
And I go, this is Absolute Films. Missed
as
opportunity.
successful
Yeah,
as the
that's
tour
it.
was,
Imagine?
Slightly.
the album,
Actually, no, at the beginning I
Because
caught a
of the
little bit of
nature of it,
music.
it's sort of
I caught the very
disjointed.
ends of the music when I walked in.
because, it was like two
So is that-
factions coming together, and although John sang on everything, Chris played on some of their stuff, and whatever, it was a slightly disjointed thing.
That's Alan White.
However, the resulting tour was very enjoyable, and it was great playing, with everybody. It was. We knew that it wasn't going to be
Really?
exactly what the ultimate, way that Yes was going to carry on, but it was fun. It was a lot of fun. It was
They're
fun
not
for the
Germanic?
fans, and it was great for us to play with each other.
Oh, Germans or Brits. Brits or Germans. If you trace it back, I guess.
And you heard the first stuff with
It's like a crowd.
Rick Wakeman on the keyboards. What was the feeling of this
Yes, as
joining a band
Himmler
that
Kyrer.
started as part of your identity, as part of your
I'm
company?
like Harry
I
Himmler.
guess it's easy to say now. I mean, I was,
Yeah,
I was
so I
young
like
then.
him. I wanted to change
I
his name.
wanted to fly off in another direction. The
The other
band
guy
wanted
looks
to
like,
fly in another
Sylvester
direction.
Stallone.
It was not like
The guy in the black hair.
a sad, departure. I was excited in doing what I was doing. I didn't really think.
This gentleman has
much
long
about
whitish
it
hair.
At the time. It was. I was working with some musicians. One of them being one of the guys who had written songs with John for early Yes stuff.
Pretty cool stuff, though. I think people.
And we had been
all just-
sort of organizing,
all
doing some recording, and
Yes, excellent.
it was no big deal, really.
sound, good picture.
I was sort of sad in a way because Yes was going on to big things. It was the start of a great future in the 70s for the band, and but I wanted to do my thing anyway, so.
This is talking about when you split the band.
And I came back.
I'm the only one that got the interview on that.
Anyway, so.
Never want to
Great.
Big
Lots of
Jerry
history.
and Talk are very descriptive pieces of music of what is your own guess. I can easily tell the way you play the keyboard. There's a very
Keyboard player.
the mix of rhythm of love that has the incorporation of your keyboards. It's so strong, you know. It's so full of it provides
It's
real
like to see the documentary. We did a tour with them. We did
what you
make.
are as a
Like, here we have this raw tape. Let us go around
Well,
filming
certainly
and do put together a
really is a continuation of the last question. The
personalized documentary.
musically,
The
what
lighting's really
the
good.
band started doing
Top lighting,
in
isn't it?
1982,
I put my light away.
with
This is light
with the
coming in through the door,
technology
I
of
think.
keyboards, made it just right. You know, it was a good time to start again. And the music was something that I wanted to do. I wasn't so excited at the point that I left the band with the music that they were doing. So I guess it's true that the last three albums is the kind of music that I want to play. So it worked out fine.
Could you tell that you're still at this time? I mean, I can say that there's always time to go into the studio, work out, and experiment. But are you still doing that? Do you still play with the new things that are coming out, with the new synthesizers, the new keyboards, and then using the Hammond also?
Oh, I guess he's a keyboard player.
I think probably I've drawn back.
That's not Alan White.
What was the new technology?
Chris Squire's the bass player. He's the guy that has
and
the middle, the heavier guy.
I mean, there's so much
With the thicker
out
accent.
now. There's so much.
I don't know where
you
he's
can do.
from.
It's almost mind-boggling, but
I know Chris
but
Squire's
I
a bass
think that
player.
It's somewhat taken for granted. You know, I mean, that's what we use.
I am
That's what I
embarrassed.
use. That's what we use. I mean, that's what I
I'm
have
not
over in
kept on the
quality,
personnel
you know,
that well.
Masses and masses.
I remember Bill
of
Bruford.
synthesizers and equipment
I remember-
to create the sounds. But you know, I'm very specific about the way that I use those mixes of instruments, equipment. But in a way, going in the full back in the full circle to using a Hammond, is
He's a
very
keyboardist.
cool for me. It's
Maybe
very
the
natural.
drummer, Alan White's the guy with the black
It's an
hair.
instrument that I started out on. And it's an instrument that I love to play.
But you didn't go back to the 90125 or the Big Generator in order to reuse them as a source of inspiration?
Yeah, let's hear some of the new material.
technology
Yes.
was there. The synthesizer technology, the computer
Do we need to?
technology
Okay.
was there to use, and it was new, and sampling was new, and the resulting.
Congratulations, Romeo Carey, on an epic documentary video filmed by Absolute Films. Copyright, patent pending, all rights reserved.
That kind of technology.
Kind of wild.
So that was interesting. But I'm not sure that I'm so.
This is the
interested
first
in
time we've watched it
It's
in 10
almost
years.
like everything's.
Wow, it's literally coming out of the old files, huh?
The
Out of the
cutting edge
casket.
of doing it, and it became just like a regular thing. Not to say that the technology of how we created this album.
Cool thing is, at least it's not all bullshit.
I mean, it's unbelievable.
It seems kind of unbelievable when I say, yeah, I did an interview with you for MTV. It's
Computer
unbelievable.
technology.
No, it is.
It's
Like,
amazing.
look, here we are in
The combination of both things, I think, it's an interesting combination.
The magic of your art and your work
all
is
those
coming
natural
around,
sounds coupled with
some fruition.
computer technology.
Well, it goes to
So
show you,
something very interesting
put yourself out
happened to
there
me
and you're
when
you're
I was listening to the Division Bell things.
I would show it to them, they'd be impressed and go, wow, you want to make a little documentary? Yeah, my kid's having a birthday.
It's so
I want to
impressive
do a
that
little
a
gig.
musician can do
Come
that
out to Westwood up in the hills and shoot our party and edit it for us. Yeah,
studio
you know,
contemporary affairs, specific young
John Anderson lives right near Dennis.
Something very
up in,
interesting happened also because
oh, really?
the music
Along
of
the
the
coast
X,
near San Francisco.
it sounds very
San Luis
fresh.
Obispo.
And there was another thing
oh,
that I
that's a
found
cool shot. He
in,
sparked it up a
in the
cigarette.
generator
That
of
was
the
a good
90125.
shot.
was
Has
that
the light.
you heard
Oh,
a lot of
that's
production,
pretty cool.
a lot
Yeah.
of massive instruments, the use of technology, but you still could tell that was Chris Squire playing the bass. You're doing, the instruments are on your own.
Oh, the bass.
And with
Alright.
Tuck, it happens the same but different. It's like being younger than
Some of the later keyboardists, I think, after Bill Bruford.
Well, you think the new album sounds younger or more rejuvenated?
Of course.
Yeah, that's possible.
Yeah, Rick
Yeah,
Wakeman on keyboards. Rick was all
I think so, too.
long blonde hair, incredible, classically trained.
I don't know
genius.
whether it.
He's a Christian right now. He became
A lot of
born
it
again
is because
Christian.
we were excited about the material. you know,
This is not Christian
John
enough, I'm
wrote,
sorry.
wrote great
What's
songs
the
to
one you
play. So it, you know, it's when you've got great
Wool amp?
songs to play, you play
New amp, stereo.
Wow.
What's that?
Super exciting
$65.
way. But I understand
Sounds
what
good.
what you say.
Plug it in and I go, yeah.
Where'd you find
I
it?
go,
But I think, you know, just
that's our
generally,
last one. Little music store in Pacific
we
Beach.
are,
Oh, wow.
the older we get,
So that's my sound system. Now, if I were to mic that, if I had a bigger amp and I wanted the mic goes to the fuckers, I could have a big sound.
we're still very excited in what we do. You know, it's not just a matter of doing it. It's, you know, we put everything into it, and I don't know, maybe it keeps us young.
If we come back just a little bit to the Union album also, I also was shocked with these two types of yes that we are talking about, you know? Their yes and your yes, Trevor and Alan and your yes. There are two things
Very different.
yes. So how could you describe their own yes?
Alan White.
You know, called as the
Alan White
classical
must be
yes
then about
from the
that.
70s. What, as a point of view of as a musician?
Well, it's a tough question, really, because I mean, I have an opinion about the way that they play, and I think that they're still very much into recreating what they did in the 70s. Maybe just a little too much. Not to demean the music that they're playing, but I think what this band does is to really push forward and to explore. We want to go into the 90s. We don't want to be in the 70s. I mean, I think that Union did sound a little bit like the old band, you know. And in a way, there were two factions within, you know, those 7 people playing on stage. And it was obviously a very, very different in its faction.
But it's also impressive how you can recreate exactly the same pieces as Rick Wakeman does, you know? That's the thing that still keeps amazing people. How some people go inside, yes, some people come out. But still, the virtuosism of each one of you as
Well, yes, of the older numbers, we put our own stamp on it. Pieces like Heart of the Sunrise and Roundabout and You and I, which were great pieces of music, classic pieces of music that we still love to play, but we play them in a powerful way, in a very, very different way to the way that band played them. One, maybe because of the technology, and two, maybe just the power of the band. Alan is a very different drummer. He's a much more powerful drummer than Bill, and of course the combination of Chris and Alan. I mean, it's a powerhouse. You know, you can't help but, you know, drive with it, and so it's very different. You know, not to decry one or the other, but I think we just want to push the boundaries a little more.
Yeah, and Tony, is it very hard to recreate the sound of Tuck? You know, because you have to do so much for the album in order to sound as close as possible, and plus feel free to play the songs the way you want to.
I thought it'd probably be more difficult than it turned out to be, but it's actually quite easy. It seems difficult, and when you first hear it, even first hearing the album, it probably sounds, it could be difficult to create, but we've done it, and it sounds great. You know, there are piano parts and there are string parts, so I played piano with the strings at the same time, so you got the sound, and then I switched to Hammond and different samples, a lot of the more complex sounds are played on a sample keyboard. So it's
it was just a matter of working out where and how I could play it all at the same time.
And it's also a challenge to recreate visually the environment of the song. What will you be doing in order to compare with it?
Well, you know, Yes has always really tried to have the lights in the stage show complementing the music. It's, you know, obviously in many cases long form music, longer songs, and there's a lot of ups and downs and instrumental parts, and it's always been a challenge. I'm not sure that we've quite captured that in the past. The combination of the focus of the people on stage, because it obviously is very, very, you know, as opposed to say Pink Floyd, that is very, very dispersed really as a band. The band sort of, you know, in a way is incidental. You know, it's just great music and a great show. We in a way have to combine that focus of the five very, very definite individuals with a lighting concept that really moves with the music, and I really believe that you know that we've really taken it further this time. Our lighting designer is very, very talented, and he's very involved with the minutest, you know, aspects of the music, and I think it's going to be a great show.
Yes, in Mexico, 1994 tour.
Because this is going to be an 8-hour special show. The history of the band. Yes. So the name of the radio station is Radioactive.
Well, good name.
Radioactive 98.5. So whatever you want to say about the history of the band, and you know, announcing the special show.
Okay. I guess you know, it's a real pleasure, you know, talking with you and being a part of this show. Obviously, it's going to be quite a long spectacular, and we as a band very looking forward very much to coming to Mexico. I'm not quite sure when, and seeing everyone down there and bringing the concert down there. And I hope the show is very successful on what's in Radioactive. And thanks very much for everything.
So Tony, just saying, I'm Tony Kay, and you're listening to the history of Yes for Radioactive.
Okay, I'm Tony Kay from Yes, and you're listening to the history of Yes on Radioactive 98.5.
I really appreciate it. You were very kind. Thank you very much. Tony, is it okay for you to sign a couple of songs? And the White Writers, which I wrote a couple of songs on a solo album, it's a real concern. I mean, the extreme left, the two extremes, is very dangerous. And, you know, it doesn't take too many people to cause a problem if they're extremely militant and aggressive. So I hope the transition works, and it's a very difficult situation. So it was funny because I had mixed feelings, because when I saw the flag come down and the other flag go up the other night, I was so happy. I had tears in my eyes. You know, it was, oh, at last this is happening. But I just hope it's, you know, I think Mandela's an incredible statesman. First of all, I hope he stays alive. I hope this, you know, because that's something that everyone's worried about. And who replaces him? And Thabo Mbeki, and there's a lot of great people. Ramaphosa is a good person. There's a lot of good people there. But whether it's, you know, whether Mandela can bring it home, and whether the youth, the black youth in South Africa, are prepared to really, really support him. One of the great things about Mandela is Chris Hani, who really was a real figurehead for the young generations of black people. Was really an important element for, you know, a voice for those people. And when he was murdered,
There's just so many problems, and so many areas where there are problems. Will the military support Mandela? It will now. I remember the elections here in America where, it was very euphoric. Clinton's coming in, everyone was euphoric, but when it gets down to, look at all the problems now, the white water and, this and that, all the problems that come up. When the dust settles in South Africa and people start functioning with this 5-year transitional government, it's hard to tell what's going to happen. At this point, I don't know when this interview is going to air, but the party that comes in second becomes the vice president. So I would imagine that either de Klerk or Buthelezi will be the vice president. But it's really where it's going to go from here. Everyone's very scared, and people that see the news flashes and stuff here, don't really know the feeling there. There's an amazing amount of euphoria, but keep in mind this is the first time black people have ever had to vote, and who knows what their expectations are. Who knows what the expectations of the white people are, and so I hope, and I hope that there no problems emerge between black and white. I don't think there will, and I think just politically between the different tribes and the extreme right and the extreme left, I just hope they can get over those problems. I think de Klerk was an incredibly brave man, and I think part of the reason this has happened is because of pressure from outside, anti-apartheid movements, Mandela's incredible courage and the ANC's courage, and also de Klerk's incredible courage to do this, because he came from inside that oppressive regime, and I think he was able to do it because he was so much part of that. Like when Nixon went to China, he was a real conservative, so he was trusted to do it. I think had Clinton been in his place, or Carter, and suggested to do that, people would have been really nervous, but because Nixon was a conservative, he was able to do that. And I think that's why de Klerk was able to bring this home. And I hope he's given a position there, not so much for representation to whites, but from my perspective, I think he's a good guy. Whether his party is or not, once again, I hope he stays alive. So, it's just a jumble of stuff which it's hard to tell. So I'm nervous, but I'm very happy that it's happened, and just holding thumbs that the next year is going to be smooth, because I think if it's smooth, and it'll eventually, hit a course, and it also depends what happens. Will they get education organized in a quick way, a black education? I don't know if they're having a kind of a Marshall Plan to organize that or not. I don't know what the plan is, and running water in the townships, electricity. There's no electricity. These things are going to be done pretty quickly, otherwise the people are going to say, hey, what's the change? There's no change. So there's so many things it depends on, but I'm generally extremely happy.
So in strictly artistic terms, has the
artists, and I used to work with and play with a lot of black artists, and the soul, there's a lot of very proud musicians who feel that reggae, a lot of them feel that reggae came from Africa, and so Jamaican reggae is not really reggae, there's a lot of people feel the real true reggae came from South Africa. Whether that's correct or not, a lot of people have very clear ideas about where the real soul came from. And blues and all of this, it's from here, it's from Africa. So I had an incredible upbringing as a musician. I was very fortunate to have that, and at the same time have obviously a pretty good training in classical music, and I did for years sessions, guitar sessions and keyboard sessions, more rock and roll area, but that definitely influenced me a lot.
But when you were working right on your own project, how did you perceive the music of this?
it wasn't something that I kind of listened to and ran out and got the records of, but I enjoyed a lot of it. I loved the bass playing always hit me. This guy, who is this guy? It's great, you know. I don't know, who's this guy? And I saw Chris playing. This guy's a monster, you know. And that's the first thing that hit me was the bass playing, and then this unique voice, this little voice was almost like a girl kind of thing, and very pure sounding voice. And those are the first two things that hit me. I think, and then there was, funny enough, the only albums I ever really got